Welcome back. You're watching KTN Prime. President Uhuru Kenyatta led family, leaders and scholars in celebrating the life of Kenyan-born Harvard scholar Professor Juma, who died last month. A requiem mass was held in memory of the towering academic. Until his death, Juma served as Professor of Practice and International Development at the Harvard Kennedy School.
A painful moment for mourners at the Holy Family Basilica. This, the beginning of a send-off for one of Kenya's premier academic giants, the late Professor Juma, the 60-year-old Harvard scholar who put Kenya on the international map with his groundbreaking writings on innovation and technology.
His appetite for knowledge, and more importantly, his generosity in sharing it, was astonishing. We celebrate and honor Professor Juma's achievements. We pray for peace and courage for his family.
Born on 9th June 1953 in Port Victoria in present-day Busia County, Professor Juma scaled academic and professional heights, even working with the United Nations during his career. He won a scholarship to study in Canada for his master's, earning a degree in science and technology in 1953. He received a doctorate degree from Zimbabwe, Kenya and Brazil before returning to Kenya, where he founded the African Center for Technology Studies. Professor Kalestas joined Harvard University's Kennedy School in 1999 as a visiting fellow, where he became popular with his students due to his insight and generosity.
He ensured access to sustainability by mentoring many young people who sought the intellectual challenge and opportunity to make a positive impact. Acts had undeniable influence in the realms of global sustainable development, climate change and adaptation, biotechnology, intellectual property, and the new Constitution of Kenya.
Professor Juma climbed the ladders of success, later serving as Professor of Practice for the International Development, directing innovation policies in Africa. He also co-chaired the Africa Union's panel on science and technology. His widow, Alison Field Juma, described his husband of 30 years as one who transformed the society through his technological innovations.
Kalestas brought out the best in people, gave them the confidence to believe in themselves and in their ability to make a difference. In his last days, he was dictating text messages of thanks to his doctors and sending a cake to the nurses. Of course, it had a joke on it. His mail was always full of cards from his students, thanking him for mentoring them, for providing inspiration and courage to forge ahead. His last tweets were pointed cartoons. He loved to teach, as anyone who attended one of his lectures or classes knows.
Until his death, Professor Juma had published several books focusing on technology advances in the continent. Many remembered him as a generous person, willing to share his knowledge with all. Professor Juma is survived by his wife, Alison Field, and 18-year-old son, Eric Juma. The body is currently at the Lee Funeral Home, awaiting transportation to Port Victoria, Busia County, for another requiem mass Friday. He will be buried on Saturday. Caroline B., KTN News.